In this video, you're going to see two things. You're going to see a reunion with Rihanna and Chris Brown. In this video, you will see that. Um, Maybe you won't see it with your eyes, but you'll hear it. You'll hear the comparisons and the stories. They happen to be in the news at the same time. The first issue is that Rihanna is in Twitter beef with TLC, which is a little normal for Rihanna in her world, and anything you say about Rihanna, she's gonna come back at you on Twitter. She vicious with those keys. She'll type the shit out of something. But as far as the controversy is regarding comments that TLC made in Australia. They did an interview and they were talking about artists that were selling sex, and they were the biggest selling girl group of all time. So they felt the need to express their opinions on the actual artist Rihanna, and talking about selling sex is something that they didn't have to do. And for the most part, that's true. But then on other aspects, musically, they had a lot of sexual themed music. Their images and everything, they had a lot of sexual images as well. They were considered sexy, you know, during that time frame when they were the hottest group in the world. Now, Rihanna actually responded with posting a picture on her Twitter of TLC, including Left Eye, posing semi-nude. And the thing about it is, I bet you Rihanna had to really look for that picture, to be honest with you. But if TLC, meaning T-boz and Chili, decided to look up images of Rihanna naked, you would find thousands of, or not thousands, maybe hundreds upon hundreds of photos, you know, photo shoots that she's taken. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. There's a certain thing I feel about respect to the people that paved the way, because I don't know Rihanna personally, but it's no way that she wasn't brought up listening to TLC as well as other artists, but mainly TLC because they were the top, you know, group at the time, and their music expressed a lot of dominance and power, women's independence, and all of these things that Rihanna somehow expresses as well in her music. You know, a lot of control, a lot of messages, you know, telling women to, you know, be in control of your relationships, be in control of your wallet. So there's a whole difference. But the only thing I don't get is that the disrespect that Rihanna showed, because, you know, I felt like if she would have cropped Left Eye out the picture, it would make sense. But when you put up an iconic group like TLC, you know, it's all inclusive. TLC stood by Left Eye through all of the issues and things that she had, and problems that were brought to the group. And I believe if Left Eye was still alive, she would have really said something. She would have really had something to say. The thing about it is that it's not about Rihanna being sensitive. It's about her responding, you know, to all of these comments, you know, that people make, you know. And it's weird because she's at a level where she doesn't have to respond to anything. She can just go on and do her. But a part of her is a little bothered by this, you know. And for her to call TLC old tots, the thing about it is TLC been around for about a good 25 years. 25 years. Rihanna been out a good 7 or 8 years. The whole thing is that Rihanna saying statements like that, she's going to be older one day. She's going to get to a certain age. in 25 years, if she sees fit, after all that Rihanna's accomplished, #1 hits and big tours and everything, if Rihanna sees fit at the age of 42, 45, if she feels fit to discuss any artist that's younger, that is on top at the moment, she has the right to do that, whether you agree with her or not. And this is what I feel about TLC. It was almost like she disrespected them in a way as if they didn't accomplish that. They still have sold more records than Rihanna, even to date. So it's just about the respect level. It's you know, TLC didn't say anything that was just so despicable. They said a lot of truth. They did. But they did have certain aspects of their career where they were highly sexual in lyrics and, you know, clothing, costumes, and things like that. It was provocative, and that was okay too. You know, nobody said anything to them at the time, and if they did, it wasn't publicized on things like Twitter. This is what makes Twitter dangerous. Rihanna should not respond in a way, because now it just creates a disrespect, and Rihanna kind of does what she wants to do, but certain things are unnecessary. Certain things she needs to take in with a grain of salt. You know, what TLC were saying was true, but also I agree with Rihanna. Rihanna actually, you know, proved her point by putting up a picture. So if you say Rihanna's nude all the time, you know, Rihanna actually had proof of TLC being nude. So, you know, TLC can't just say, oh, well, we've never sold sex to sell records. Sure, because they had great music. They had great subject matter. They didn't have to. A lot of their styling was not super overtly sexual. They had certain things. So it shouldn't be a disrespect to the older, more seasoned artists. It just shouldn't be. You know, Rihanna will do what she wants to do. She will be successful. As of now, seems like, you know, over the last 7 or 8 years, she hasn't made too many bad decisions, because the thing about Rihanna is that she does what she wants, and that's her appeal. You know, and the thing about TLC's appeal was in the same vein, similar to Rihanna's appeal. TLC did what they wanted to do. TLC said what they wanted to say, and they didn't have any shame about what they were talking about, what they were doing. So, you know, the disclaimer that they're jealous, it's laughable, because, you know, they've sold more records. I mean, they already have been in the game for 25 years. That's a long time. So they have proven themselves to have a longevity and a successful career. And the thing about it is, Rihanna still has a way to go before she's considered, you know, an icon, you know, in terms of just what she's been through, the length of her career thus far. You know, it all will come together for her eventually, but when she gets there, she will be older one day. So the confidence and cockiness that Rihanna has, it shouldn't be so serious and pointed, because the thing is that she will be old someday. Someday she will. And if Rihanna want to talk about a young artist, Rihanna can talk about a young artist. Not being super disrespectful, but she can tell some truths, even if she did similar things while she was younger. So it shouldn't never be anyone that would disrespect you for telling some sort of the truth, because with TLC, they didn't tell any lies. They told the truth. They were not lying. And the thing was, they were asked the question. It wasn't like, you know, they just went in to attack Rihanna. But they have the right and freedom to say whatever they want to say, however they want to say it. But these repercussions with the Twitter fights, and now people disrespecting them. How you going to disrespect a group that pave the way for the artists that you love so much. So if anybody's disrespecting TLC in a way because of their speaking their opinions, it's unnecessary. Chris Brown got out of jail. He's facing another criminal trial coming up soon. He had a party, a welcome home party, and that his girlfriend Karuchi threw for him with a lot of different celebrities, T-Pain, Big Sean, and different people in the industry that were in support of Chris Brown's homecoming. Is it homecoming or homegoing? I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Is it temporary home going, or is it new home behind bars going in the future? Okay, that was wrong. Okay, all right. So really, it's not that. Sorry about that. It's just, you know, it just popped in my head. You know. Anyway, as far as Chris Brown has been through a lot. Chris Brown has put himself through a lot, but Chris Brown has also been a target a lot, you know. And the whole thing about Chris Brown and your dreams of him becoming what the potential that he was before he put his hands on Rihanna, they're gone. Okay? You have to let it go. Chris Brown will not be Michael Jackson in no shape, form, or fashion. And it's okay. It's okay for him not to be Michael Jackson. There was only one Michael Jackson. He won't be that. He went through a different lane. He went through the more Bobby Brown type of lane where you have potential and then you have anger issues. Potential and anger issues don't go well together. If you're anger and you have anger issues, you're going to have a problem because your potential is always going to be compromised whenever your anger comes out. And the thing about Chris Brown, his anger doesn't come out once, twice, 3 times. It's a part of him that he needs to work on. And I believe that more than him becoming super big like he had the potential to be 5 years ago, I just hope that he put in the time to actually focus on himself and get rid of all the negative people around him. He has to be in a positive place most of the time to control his anger. If he's not, his anger is going to get in the way. People I noticed on different blogs have made comments about how much weight Chris Brown has gained. He's gained a lot of weight compared to Chris Brown, who was skinny. But for him to be bigger and still be Chris Brown, a lot of people have devalued his looks, devalued his talent. You know, he's still a talented person. So the whole thing is that with weight, he can lose it, he can gain it, but he's still inside the same person. So hopefully that this life change of him being put away will actually make him really see the things that he needs to see, and maybe get people to believe in that potential again, because the whole thing is that he could possibly do it if he fully changes for real. Like, no trouble, nothing, you know. Do your performances, go to a couple of parties, start to modify yourself. I mean, when Mariah Carey kind of had a breakdown in 2000, the thing about it is she was releasing an album every year. She was actually going on tour. She was doing all these interviews, appearances, no sleep. You know, whole thing has made her a little crazy. The thing about it is, once she got that rest, she kind of came back. You know, he needs to just focus on himself. He has enough money. He needs to chill, relax. He needs to just focus on the positivity that he could bring to the world, not in spurts, because a part of me believes that he has the potential to actually give and care. However, that's where that whole fight comes in, his anger versus his potential. He has potential to be great. His anger doesn't really go with that. It's a bad mixture. So Chris Brown just needs to focus and get himself to a level where he has no alternative other than to be in a positive place, a positive mood, mindset, and be able to channel all of that into his music, into his producing, into his dancing, into his performance, into his singing, so he could be at least close to the potential that he should have been. Maybe that would actually eradicate a lot of the misconceptions about Chris Brown. The thing is that, it starts to unravel, when first it was like cool for him to be bad, and then he goes and attacks, and then he goes to jail and things like that. Some people actually probably liked him even more. However, I saw a difference when he got out of jail and he was bigger. It was almost like, damn, you had the bad boy thing, and now, you're big. People not viewing you in the same light. They're not looking at Chris Brown in the same way because he's gained weight too. So now it's just up to Chris Brown to kind of pull it back in, reel it all back in. He can lose his weight. He can focus in thoroughly on his music and thoroughly on making not a comeback. See, that was an issue before. He was trying to make a comeback. They're trying to get him to erase the images. He just needs to embrace it, talk about it in his music. I would love for him to just do a lot of songs about his personal development, personal growth, other than the imagery. The imagery that we've heard thus far is really not an aid to who he is. He's more than that. He's more than that. So it's just that he needs to put it all in his music. Talk about past things. If he has a gag order on a Rihanna incident, I'm sure it's lifted by now. Discuss that in his music. I mean, really, that's interesting. Talk about that. Talk about being a target. Talk about being, and not just in a superficial way. Don't talk about songs or sing about songs where people have pumped you up. Oh, Chris, you didn't do anything wrong. You're great, Chris. Nothing is wrong. You're great. Yes, 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 yes. Not the yes man music. I want him to get the real man music. Talk about himself. Talk about you. Talk about your feeling, your ups and downs, for real, not on a superficial level. Get deep with it, because the whole thing is, I think that's really all that he got to really change. He needs to go in deep. He needs to pull out all the things that are holding him back, and he needs to open his eyes and take the blinders off to see the people in his life that don't need to be there, and kind of appreciate the people that are pulling him up. If Karrueche, his girlfriend, is pulling him up, if she's pulling him out of something, that's great. But if she's not helping him or aiding him, he needs to just kind of distance himself and just really focus. Because the thing about him is that him catching all these cases, he's bound to get caught up in something else. And it might not be his fault. It really might be an incident where he's associated with something, somebody, some incident. I mean, he has so many incidents as if nothing has happened in his life that made a major impact or a change. He has to grow and learn. However, the older excuse was Chris Brown is young, he's just a kid. But as the years roll by, he's getting older. He's getting older. And the whole thing is that without the image and without the fanfare, he can focus on himself. If he grows, his fans will appreciate it even more. If he grows musically, spiritually, sonically, he grows, then he will give so much more to the world with the truth that he's been through a lot. So just talk about it. Let people know what you've been up to. Really, for real, not superficial songs, and they're good. Some songs that he has are good, even if they're not talking about too many things. He might have some lines in there that are really truthful and good, but he needs to really be focused on that. And so with the whole Rihanna thing, you know, I kind of had a joke, and I thought that Rihanna probably had changed to be with Chris Brown, but then somebody informed me that they thought it was the other way around, that Chris Brown changed by being with Rihanna. And when I really think about it, in this video, I'm talking about how Rihanna is, you know, battling another iconic group, and another Twitter battle, and all of these things. But that shows that she's crafty. That shows that she's in charge of her own accounts. She writes her own checks. So if you come at Rihanna, she's coming at you directly. She's not playing. I mean, so if you look at it, that might be how it was with Chris Brown. Maybe she was a puppet master in that whole thing. So it could be a lot of stuff that we never known that went down, that from his point of view would be powerful for him to tell. I would love for him to tell us what really happened, what was really said to him that made him attack that way. And although he had no right to touch her, but I laugh a lot for no reason because I'm goofy, so don't mind me. So go to my blog 2312onblast.com and let's be friends. Add me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want the connection. Let's talk. If you send me a message, I'll respond to you. If you definitely have a subject